Hi, this is Jen with Ramshackle Homestead and Survival, and we just wanted to share some information about oyster mushrooms, how we collect them, how we preserve them, and a recipe as well. So first and foremost, just wanted to go over the basics of foraging. If you're not familiar, you want to leave some mushrooms. You don't want to take them all. I know that's tempting sometimes when you've worked so hard, spent a lot of time in the woods, and all you found is one little cluster. But if you just find one cluster, just leave, you know, a couple brackets of it so it can continue to grow and spore out, because those spores will land somewhere fruitful, hopefully, and then the cycle will continue. The mycelium will grow in the wood, decompose the log, and then send out the fruiting body at some point. Something else we didn't talk about in the video, which is important, is the weather. Right now it's late fall here in northwestern Kentucky, and we have some pretty crazy weather. Really warm, and then gets extremely cold very fast within a 24-hour period. And we always find that that is good weather for things to happen in the mushroom world. Sometimes it's beneficial, sometimes it's not. Like in the spring, for whatever reason, I think we had a really warm spell, and the morels didn't do hardly anything, or if they did, we did not catch it at the right time. But last week it was super warm. It was 73 in the day, and then it got down to 37 that night. Then the next couple nights, I think it got down to low 20s. So that type of weather pattern for right now has really been successful mushroom hunting weather. So keep that in mind. And as you get more familiar, you'll kind of be able to spot it and be like, I wonder if it's been warm and it's cold and it's rained. The rain is important too. All those things will help you become a better forager, so you're not walking around the woods aimlessly hour after hour. Not that that's, you know, you get good stuff from just walking in the woods aimlessly anyway, but it's always better when you can come back with something to show for your effort. But just stay tuned. Check us out on our website and Facebook and Instagram, Ramshackle Homestead and Survival. And hopefully I hope that you have good luck with oyster mushrooms in your neck of the woods. And if not, I hope you have a friend that can hook you up with some oyster mushrooms, because they're a treat. And if all else fails, you can always go online and buy the, I guess, oyster block, you know, the fruiting blocks that they sell. It's easy. You just cut them open, I think mist them with water more or less. So you can grow your own if you so choose. And I would highly recommend it, because oyster mushrooms are pretty cool, I must say. So anyway, stay tuned. The type of trees that we've been finding oyster mushrooms on in our area, which is northwestern Kentucky, has been a lot of hackberries, like this tree right here, which you can hardly tell it's a hackberry anymore, but it is. Also find them on box elders and willows, which are indicative of more lowland type areas that receive a lot of moisture, and also tulip poplars as well. When you're walking in the woods looking for oyster mushrooms, you want to look on down trees. Sometimes we found them with trees that are still kind of propped up, the dead leaning trees, but for the most part it's going to be logs like this. It has a lot of debris, a lot of decay already, and if we hadn't walked right past these, probably wouldn't have seen them. So you're just looking for the right shape and color to kind of stick out. That's my best advice for you. Now that we have the mushrooms home, try not to look at all the other stuff. I know it's kind of a hot mess, but it's our tiny house and there's a lot going on. So I've got this little paintbrush that I use to just brush off the dirt. What I'm fixing to do is just to dehydrate some, because I don't have any more room. This is what we got the other day, and I've got 3 more bags I need to make some room for, so I gotta do something. Whoops. So I don't go crazy, but there's a little bit of dirt. And like if there's, where we maybe didn't cut far enough away from the tree, there might be some tree bark, but just get those off. But anyway, I just kind of want to show you what we do when we get a whole bunch of mushrooms. So, of course, we eat some fresh. Can't not do that. Anything from soup to just sauteing them. A couple of different things. I think I'll probably do a recipe for this video. But as far as for dehydrating them, I just tear them apart. So like, say this was one cluster, I'll just take this and just kind of break it in, I don't know, roughly 1 to 2 inch size pieces. Maybe smaller, but you know, they just tear super easy, just like that. And then I just lay them out on the tray. Okay, after they got done drying, this is what they'll look like in various forms of them, but these are just the bigger pieces, and I just tore, you know, like 1 or 2 inch strips, tore them into 1 or 2 inch strips. So, and this piece was pretty big, but now it's very small, and you can see it's just super dried, very light, crumbles very easily, so it won't be any big deal to make this into a powder. I'm going to try a regular coffee grinder, electric coffee grinder, that is. I'm sure this will work. It doesn't hold a lot, by the way, so, I mean, it's not really a problem. If you have a food mill, I reckon that'll work pretty good. As light as these are, a food processor, and I've got one of those too, would work equally well and be faster, but honestly, I don't want to get that out. I put too much in that first. Turns into very fine dust. I don't know if all that stuff's very good to breathe in. That's all there is to it. You get some nice powder there. That was just 2 runs right there. That's pretty good. So another way to preserve oyster mushrooms is going to be freezing them. I can't freeze a lot of them because I don't have room. I could try, but it wouldn't work. So anyway, but I want to give it a try. I freeze a small portion of chicken in the woods, saute it in butter, but these I'm going to blanch for, which just means, you know, put them in some boiling water for a minute or 2, and then plunge them in some cold water to stop the enzymes from doing their thing. So I got my water going here, and here's the cluster that I want to do. And we picked these the other day. They're not the freshest looking, but they will work fine. They're still in super good shape. So I'm just going to pull them apart from the cluster, and they're not dirty at all, other than a few little leaves, but that's not going to hurt anything. And so if you're curious, they're called oyster mushrooms because of the shape, not necessarily because of the flavor or anything like that, or the color, but more or less for the shape. And as far as like just a mild mushroomy smell, it's not overwhelming or anything. So this is what they look like all chopped up close. So like I said, gills are more opaque looking than the white flesh. Put them in there. So they've boiled for about a minute or 2. Not too particular. I don't want to do it too much, but I've got this handy dandy ladle. And here's the cold water. And I guess I could put them all at once. So if you do end up freezing a lot of your mushrooms going through this process of blanching them, like I said, you could also saute them in butter, you know, like pre-cook them, then freeze them. What I understand is that this water right here that you blanched them in is going to be very tasty. So if you had planned to do something with that you would need some liquid, like a soup, definitely save this liquid. You could also just drink it, you know, like a mushroom tea. I don't know, I'll try some, but I only did this one batch. So it's not going to be real intense flavor, but I might just save the water nonetheless, just to try it out. But definitely if you do a whole lot of runs and you're boiling water, save that water and drink it or utilize it in some other recipe because it's super good stuff in there. Bag. And notice I did them in a single layer so they'll be able to freeze quickly and store easily and thaw out easier too, so they're not just in one big clump. So if I didn't already have enough mushrooms, me and Keith went back up the hill and we got some more mushrooms because I wanted to make something using fresh mushrooms. And so I got this big bunch. Aren't they beautiful? Look at how huge that is. Look at that. And this is where I cut it off. Isn't that cool? Very large. And like here's another ginormous. So when I saw these, I was like, you know what, I hate to dice them up in little pieces so they're unrecognizable. I'd like to keep them just huge like this. It's dark out and filming me grilling them wouldn't really be suitable, and tomorrow is supposed to rain. So I want to try to roast them. I don't think it'll be too difficult. Cora's got a little tiny oven at her place, so I'm just gonna try it over there and see how it does. So with this big mushroom, I ramble, I am just gonna tear it in long strips like this, not too wide, and I'm gonna try to air fry it. Her little oven is an air fryer too. We'll do one more for good measure. Just gonna drizzle them with some extra virgin olive oil. Stir it up. Just some salt and pepper. And then toss it. And then I'll go take it to hers. So I'm just going to use a generic setting on the air fryer. I think it's like 375 if I'm not mistaken. That sounds about right. Just trying to coat them evenly. If I had any herbs in season right now, I'd probably put them with it. But thyme would be really good with this. I love that stuff. I've got rosemary out there, but I don't want to overpower it in case I want to put it with something else. And I've got sage in here again. I don't think that is what I want to go for. Okay, everything's covered really good. So I'm going to go take it to her place and I'll show you how it works out. So after a lot more air frying than I thought would be necessary, I got them finished and they turned out really good. Check it out. So they're browned, crispy, very tasty. I'm gonna call them mushroom fries. They're kind of long, skinny, crunchy, chewy a little bit, not much. It's very similar texture to chicken. I hate to use that comparison, but I mean, honestly, they would be a great side dish just by itself. Okay, this is my guest, Keith, to try the roasted mushroom fries, oyster mushroom fries.
And by guest, she means like I just walked in the door from the shop and she's like, "Hey, you look like a hobo. Would you like some mushroom fries?" I'm like, "What hobo doesn't like mushroom fries?"
That's what I was thinking.
They are delish.
Nice
Which
and
is a-
crunchy.
Good thing, because we have like 8,000 pounds of oyster mushrooms.
It is a good thing.
No, they're awesome.
I like them too.
With my dirty hands. Makes them taste better.
Okay, sir, that'll be all. Thank you.